Hi, my name is Alicia Elkort, and I'm grateful to be here with Badmouth, and a shout out to Rebecca Aronson. Thank you for inviting me. I have a book coming out in November by Stillhouse Press, and I guess it will be ready for pre-order in June, and I'm going to read some poems that come from the book, which is a mixture of mythology, feminism, and personal experience. And I believe the book interrogates what it means to be a woman in this world, or any world for that matter. And the first poem I've chosen to read is called You Don't Have to Be Good. And it was first published in Gone Long. And it speaks to how we learn from the younger folk. And in this case, it happened to be my niece. You don't have to be good. What I'm asking is, when will they stop murdering little girls, decomposing bodies under scrub brush, teddy bear yards, blood ropes, necks twisted? I'm with my niece surrounded by spruce and black oak, a sky as blue as lapis, the patter of unseen deer and mice, a soft trill through the forest. Kate has planted herself across the yellow line on a private road, the ascent too much for her defiant bones, arms crossed, 5-year-old legs splayed, body secured to pavement. I won't move unless you carry me, she says. Her father had promised to meet us, but he hasn't shown, so I try. Whoever makes it to the top first wins, to no effect. Unable to lift or carry her in my fear and desperation to keep her safe, imagining a car around the bend splattering the last bits of her across asphalt, I throw out the only card I have left. I know you are such a good girl, you'll get up right now and walk with me. Why did I think that would work on my niece? All vinegar and obstinate blood, her determination a sport of Olympic proportions. When her response comes through, lungs at full volume, steady and sure, I am not a good girl. Face red, spittle around lips. I know the answer to my question. I can feel the souls of all the murdered girls converged and dancing, their skin knees, purple tennis shoes, red ribbons. I know this moment is transformational, that the soft chemistry of my DNA has been altered, that Kate is the unknown X, the equation solved. The culmination of genetic strands reaching back to the beginning of time has given me permission to express the full texture of my being. I am certain there are others like her blooming all over the country. The season is now. I move down the road to the bend and breathe the scent of wild currant, alert to flag any vehicle, letting Kate decide when she's ready and when she's willing to head up the road. The next poem I want to read was first published in Journal 9. It's from the mythology of Medusa. I like taking mythology and stories and deconstructing them and reconstructing them in ways that I like better. Medusa. Medusa shakes her rage, her snake eyes and hair. I'd love to touch my curls, hers touching this gaze, my eyes of disruption. She was seduced, you say. Tell it to the mountain. I say, tell it to the sky. Tell it to every man. The sins of every man come to vanquish her name and step on her head. They can't look in her eyes. That gaze, they turn to stone. How we turn to stone every time a person asks, what was she wearing? Was that vodka she was drinking? Who does she think she is to turn so much beauty and not owned by a man? Chana's sisters called her a liar. They called my beautiful friend a wicked liar to ruin the family name, but her father raped her and sisters abandoned her on an island named Grief with this gift to look into a stranger's eyes and know their own rage will turn them to stone. No warning. How she'd love to have tea, add honey and friends and lemon, a few cookies. But these truthful eyes, what does it look like, Medusa, who has seen the truth and lived with grit while the world retells her story, the salient parts all wrong. It's not your story at all. What has she seen? What evil turned her heart? Turned the blood on our lips, the crush of our breath. We turn and turn to stone like Lot's wife, who wasn't even given her own name. How dare she turn for her daughters, and who is killing or raping them? What vengeful God is this? Not my God to punish a person for another's actions. What was she wearing again? Sandra Bland should have been respectful to the man standing on her head, demanding fealty, commanding what she's lost in this world is lost to us. Medusa was raped, that's how it went down, and still it sounds like the result of her own actions, i.e., Medusa was walking down the street and stopped for a coffee. How about Poseidon raped Medusa in her mother's home, her own sacred temple? Did you catch that? Poseidon raped Beauty. Beauty belongs to the voyeur. Her mother casts her out. How like Chana. Men came to kill, to claim her rage, for who likes a nasty woman? Who would vote for a nasty woman? Who cares what happens? You can grab him by the pussy all day long. How I long for Medusa's snakes, her skin, her arms. And if I looked into her eyes, I'd see rain and roses, fawn and lemur, sweet river mists and skies azuring the night. If I could tell her one thing, it'd be, I am grateful for my truth, her stare, my snakes, her eyes, my hair, her gloriously healing rage. The next poem I'm going to read was first published in Gingerbread House Lit magazine, and the 1001 Nights, the container story, is about a man, a king, who murders each of his wives the night of the marriage so they're not able to betray him, until an exceptional, clever woman comes along, Scheherazade, and manages to beguile him with story and keep herself alive. So when anti-immigration sentiment first started sweeping through the US, there were stories about immigrants who were doctors and attorneys and scientists. And I thought, but that's not the point. What about the barber, the janitor, the barista? Do only the exceptional people deserve the privileges of immigration? And it made me want to give voice to the wives that weren't as clever as Scheherazade in 1001 Nights, the women whose stories we never learned. A tale not told. Shahryar is my husband, and I will die tonight. I am common, though beautiful, and have done nothing more than sleep in my skin and know myself as woman. Father arranged our marriage. Beauty and modesty would prevail, he said. For what man could murder a 15-year-old girl? I would have liked to wed Father's chef. He creates delicacies from honey and rose with flourishes of cream and flower petals. He made certain my bowls were filled with pistachios and pomegranates, and I would redden my lips with cherries, then admire the line of my breasts in the glass. I am obedient and married the man Father told me to marry. Too many have perished. I am haunted. They come to me in sleep and whisper, Shahryar is my husband and I have died tonight. Their eternity, no children, no laughter, no sunsets or windstorms, no stars shimmering a darkening sky, no lavender-scented pillows, no red earth scent after a rain. So many voices, Shirin, Shiri, Shirin, you will die tonight, like crickets on the warmest eve, insistent, persistent, comforting. Women murdered in their wedding beds, split like a seam, blood ribbons. They tell me I'm not clever, and neither were they. I wish I were clever. I wish I knew how to keep myself alive. What were their dreams? Do you know me? I'm an artist. My dainty wrist good for something. Father sells my watercolors, puts his name on them. I paint trees, sycamores that sleep, willows that weep. I would like to sell my paintings and live on my own. I would like to live. You see how foolish I am? Foolish, beautiful girl. Shahryar is my husband, and I will die tonight. Shiri, Shiri, Shirin, Shiri, you will die tonight. Soon we dead, numerous and shimmerous souls, wisps of light, fireflies in flight, whispering in the next bride's ear. Sheryar is my husband, and I will die tonight. The next poem I'm going to read was first published in a wonderful journal, Vox Viola, and it speaks for itself. So, my sister is a mermaid at the bottom of the pool, pretending she doesn't need to surface. Her fins are swift and there's no shark she doesn't call friend. She ditched class with her best friend. He holds his breath longer than she can, not a merman, just a kid who likes to dive and has a pool. He doesn't want anything of her tits, the curve of her hips down to her tail. He tells her she's a damn good mermaid. He doesn't really know one fish from another. I wasn't there when my dad's colleague pinned her against the wall, tried to touch her breasts. Though I read something she wrote down, left lying around, it might have been her diary. The colleague brings flowers to my ballet recital in Central Park, kick-ass pink flowers with forget-me-nots, a bouquet ample enough for a prima ballerina. None of the other girls gets flowers so big, and I'm embarrassed. He felt up my sister. It's quiet at the bottom of the pool, she writes. I can just be myself. The next poem, it was also published in Vox Viola, and its title is Anahata, Unstruck. There's a hole in my back between the wing bones, as wide as terror, but slight enough to miss if you don't know what you're looking for. The healer said my heart chakra leaks light and the night flies through me. Still, it feels good when someone caresses my back as if the breaking never broke and night never fell, and kindness is all I've known. I cracked 2 crystal tumblers brimming with red blood wine. They split when I touched them, each on different days. I'm just a clumsy child picking roses and limes, and I've forgotten wholeness, the glory and the God, and now a grown woman whose feathers don't fly, wings clipped, third eye with dark glasses. But look up, dear one, the sky is soft and any bird can launch from the nearest tree. The last poem I'm going to read was first published in the Altadena Poetry Review. All the goodness of the world. I'll leave on a top note. All the goodness of the world. I was walking down the street and a woman walking her tiny, tiny dog turned to say, "Hello, dear." And it wasn't the words, but her smile. I fell into a hole the size of sweetness. And as I fell, someone handed me a cup of compassion, though it tasted like lemon and honey. And someone handed me joy, though it looked like a pink wool hat. And when at last I stopped falling, I was back on the street, though it felt as if my feet were standing on white sands and clear water. And oh, the kindness of her eyes. We didn't hug because we were strangers, but I wanted to. Her eyes said, "It's okay, dear." Yes, yes, her eyes said, "There is goodness all the days of your life." As if all the gray-haired grandmothers of the world stood around chanting, "Hello, dear." And her eyes, brown, though they looked like yellow daisies. Life had handed me grief, though it felt like mud, and life had handed me sadness, though it felt like thirst. But in 2 shakes of a second here on the street with wild orchids blooming, my heart opened and orange-breasted sparrows followed me home. All because a woman with a tiny, tiny dog has in her pockets secret treats for everyone. Not a secret after all. Thank you. Thanks for listening.